Welcome back to another live feed reads. We are.
Welcome back. We're
Yes,
here
sir.
live in
Oh,
Technicolor. So here's the deal. Last week, Friday, I was sick.
your
I've
your
got
camera's like
this
it's got other
week,
plans right now.
this,
There we go.
this week, Jason is sick.
Yeah.
Of course, I
Oh,
tested negative for COVID.
can you
Come
dip it
on,
down
man,
again?
work with me, man. Work with me.
It's got other
Uh,
plans, man.
but I'll tell you what. Whatever this is, it's a COVID wannabe because I did a checklist, check, and I'm like, well, if I don't have COVID, what the hell is this? And like I said, it's a COVID wannabe for damn sure because Jason's
Yep.
got it now, and it's rough.
It is
It
rough.
kept me out of work for 5 days, and I don't miss work.
Yep.
And a side note, I don't see how people sit at home and watch TV 24/7. I wanted to put a bullet in my mouth, but anyway, that's just me. So
Yeah.
let's
It's
jump into it.
obnoxious.
That kind of brings us to our topic of the day, which is COVID-19 and lawsuits. I've got a couple of calls, of course, not last week, but in this week and in the preceding weeks and so forth about can I sue someone and things of that nature and
Wait,
can
sue someone
can
over
my
COVID?
well, can I sue them over COVID? Can I sue my employer who wants to mandate the shot? Can I sue the
Okay.
hospital for this, that, and the other?
Yeah.
Can I? Businesses are not following through with the protocols, and I can't go to eat at restaurants because I don't feel safe, and I want to make them comply and things of that nature. Those are
Wow.
all
Yeah.
kinds of questions. So let's
Yeah.
start with Florida. We'll go with Florida, and then we'll
All right.
go to a broader the United States because the Supreme Court has decided or heard this issue now 3 times. But in Florida, basically forget it. In
Oh,
uh, in
okay.
March of this year, 2021, DeSantis signed a law basically protecting or shielding businesses, and when I say businesses, individuals, businesses, education facilities, religious facilities, the government, and healthcare. So basically everyone. It's called the COVID-19 legislation, shielding businesses from liability. And so, what does that mean? Does it mean you cannot sue a business or one of those entities? And the answer is no, you can, but good luck, just that simple. Because what you
Okay.
have to do, which is almost like medical malpractice, but even more stringent, you have to basically have a very specific pleading. Normally in Florida, it's a notice. You just, hey, I was in a car wreck. This person did it. That's a notice. I'm putting you on notice as to why I'm suing you.
Okay.
Pretty short and sweet. The specific pleading is you've got to list out specifically every aspect of your case. And if any of that doesn't cut the mustard, the judge will dismiss it. So that's number one. It's much
Hmm.
harder just from the pleading standpoint. Number two is, which is very difficult, you have to find a licensed Florida physician who will swear under oath in an affidavit that within a reasonable degree of medical certainty, which is certainty,
Right.
uh, that the individual COVID-19 related damages occurred as a result of the business's wrongdoing. And when again,
Okay.
business, hospitals, churches and so forth, good luck. It
Yeah.
is, it is hard to
Well,
find a
yeah.
doctor to basically attest that another doctor or medical provider was negligent and committed malpractice. This doctor has to attest that within a reasonable degree of medical certainty, the business had some wrongdoing. Well, hell,
I
how
would
is a
I would
doctor
think.
going to do that if he's never even been to the business? And number two, or number three, you have to show that the business did not make a good faith effort to comply with the public health standards.
Yeah.
And that's not. There's different levels.
There's so many
This has
variables in that.
well, it has to be gross negligence,
Yeah.
which is willful behavior done with extreme disregard for the health and safety of others. Dude,
Right.
come on.
Yeah. I
I
mean, like
mean,
I was in CVS buying cough medicine or whatever, and I noticed that their little hand sanitizer
yeah,
thing, the thing that you pulled the little wipes out
Yeah.
of, was empty.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah.
well, that doesn't mean that it didn't just go out 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, who knows? And then you've
And
got,
I
you've got
was,
variables all over the
oh
place.
yeah. Well, I forget where I was. Was it
Like,
Sam's or I forget. Dude, they had hand sanitizers on every shelf. The
yeah,
little button on every shelf. So
right.
good luck with that. But then
Yeah,
not only that, so you got all of that to overcome, and then in a case such as this, a personal injury case, you have what's called causation.
okay.
Okay, what is causation? You've got to prove where you contracted COVID.
I was gonna say that was the other thing that I was thinking about. Like, unless like, oh, so let's say you're blaming your church. You have to prove that church is the only place that you've gone in the last couple of weeks, because that's the only way that you can isolate down where you got it from, and no one came to visit you.
There's an episode on Seinfeld. You better be the bubble boy.
Yeah.
And either one person has come over to your bubble,
yeah,
or you've gone to only one place,
yeah,
the church or
right.
from your bubble.
Like, you didn't receive any packages. You didn't, like, there's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, zero.
Other than being the bubble boy, there's just no way.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Florida, and just so that's why you're not going to find. Well,
yeah.
I can't say it. You're not going to.
It's going to be very hard.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Right. All right, and so on a nationwide stage, so the of course everybody now knows that the police and the firefighters and healthcare providers and schools and so forth are asking the courts to shoot down the vaccine mandates from the powers that be. So the first one, or say one of them, was the main healthcare workers said that, well, there's no religious exemption for us, and therefore that law is unconstitutional. So Stephen Breyer, one of the 9 Supreme Court justices, they just so you know, and I learned this when I was doing a little research.
Okay.
They have, each justice has a certain section of the country where they're the initial individual, the initial judge that decides whether this even has merit to kind of move on.
Mm-hmm.
So his jurisdiction is that main New England Northeast section. And so he says, no, we're not going to hear that. Now, his reasoning was, which is a lot of this is, you've got to go through the proper channels. We've discussed this in the last weeks or two. You don't just go from, I'm aggrieved, I want the Supreme Court to hear it.
Yeah.
And so he said, no, you've got to go to the district court judge, which is the trial court judge, federal court judge. Then you got to go up there's the first district court of appeal. And then depending on what happens, we may or may not hear it at that point. So his was, not yet. Whether we decide to hear it at all, not yet. Now he's a liberal. Stephen Breyer's a liberal. So he's a liberal judge. So then you got Sonia Sotomayor. She evidently has the New York area because the New York City public school teachers and employees were mandated, as you know, to have the COVID. And the same thing, they sued. And Sotomayor, liberal, said, no, we ain't going to hear it. Okay. And then, of course, you think, oh, yeah, you expect that from the libs, right? No, oh, no. Amy Coney Barrett, arguably one of the most conservative judges, if you kind of believe the pundits, on an Indiana University students requested the same issue, a vaccine mandate unconstitutional. Nope, no, thank you. So it's not just a Republican appointee or a Democrat appointee. There are 3 of these justices, 2 of them more liberal, and one of them probably couldn't be more conservative. All of them rejected the pleas, and so the bottom line is the courts are just not, in my opinion, wanting to get involved in this mess. And it's really no business of theirs. You individuals elected their officials, and now you're stuck with it. You don't like it, go to vote. That's all you can do, because the courts don't appear to be willing to wade into this fiasco, because they're not doctors, they're not epidemiology specialists and things of that nature, and so they're not going to substitute, obviously, their views on the issue with what the law is or should be, because obviously you would think, Breyer, I could see where he's going to defer to the Democratic liberal legislative body. I can see where Sotomayor's going to, but hey, this was a softball to Amy Coney Barrett,
Right.
a very conservative judge in Indiana, to say, okay, well, I think we're going to hear this. No, we're not.
No, yeah.
So, which actually I agree with, honestly. I don't agree with the mandates and the mask and whatever, of course,
Sure.
but it's not a place for the courts. It's really
Yeah.
not. It's a place for the voting box. And if
Yeah,
you
for
want to
sure.
change things, go in there and pull the lever accordingly. If you don't,
Yeah.
then you know what? And I said this last year when we were doing these with Ryan. I don't care what happens in Oregon. I don't live in Oregon. I don't care what happens in Washington, the state up. I don't live in Washington. I don't care what happens in California. I don't live in California. If this is the way those people want their lives to be run, well, so be it. I do care what happens in Florida, and I'm glad that we are not being run, so to speak, like some of those other cities and states.
There's a lot of reports I've seen where people are leaving the other states and moving.
I can't drive around here without seeing license plates from
all over
that you typically wouldn't, to be quite honest. I mean, you expect New York and Canada, some of those, and the New England, but I've seen a lot of California. I've seen Washington. I've seen Minnesota. The list goes on and on.
It does. Yeah.
License plates that are out there, people saying, you know what, let's go to the Sunshine State. They got their shiz together.
Yeah. Just remember that. Vote accordingly whenever you get there.
Yeah,
turn it into the place you came from.
Ka-ching. Yeah. Vote the lever. I'm not telling you how to vote. You vote your conscience. Vote however you want to be. However you want your legislative body to basically rule for or over you. That's up to you.
It's like when my wife will go in and clean my kid's room and it's like spotless, and then my kids walk in and they're like, "Oh my goodness, this is so cool!" And they'll spend like all day in there, and I'm like, just remember that feeling. Keep it clean, Keep it that way.
All right. Well, on that note, it's a beautiful day.
The weather's been amazing.
It's going to warm up a little, but that's okay. It's not in the 90s, so. We're in the upper 80s. We will get down here in what is this, October or November, into
We're
the
in
low
October,
80s.
almost November.
Cool at night and the daytime. So God bless. It's 6 months on and 6 months off. I'm looking forward to it. What do we got? Halloween coming up, but we should have a show before then.
Are you guys going to do like a costume contest or anything in the office?
I don't recall what we've done. I don't think we've had. I know we've
never had a costume contest. We always do
the Christmas ugly
sweater
contest, but I don't think we've had the Halloween costume.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, well, whatever.
It'd be fun. We'll see.
I wouldn't hold my breath. All right, so we're out of here. Everybody have a good weekend. Be safe. And
it's like having a lawyer in the family. Yep.
Absolutely.